to start.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Finance Department is in the final stages of implementing the new payroll processing system. The first payroll was successfully processed through the system, and staff are currently making minor adjustments. It's mainly just the GLs on the back end. Overall, the pay run was successful. The majority of staff were able to enter their own hours, and management was able to review, adjust, and approve time as needed. Staff now have access to their payroll and HR information through the system. In addition to payroll, the system also provides enhanced human resources functionalities, including centralized document storage, improved record retention, and the ability to broadcast information to staff. The next steps include transferring existing HR documents into the system and implementing digital sign-offs to ensure employees are up to date on policies and procedures. The interim tax due date is April 30th, 2026, so next Thursday, and staff have been responding to a high volume of property tax related inquiries. This has also been increased with property tax reprints due to the income tax time. Water and sewer billing operations are continuing as usual. Staff have also been working on cross-training efforts, particularly for the front counter. The aim is to ensure continuous coverage and improve service delivery and record keeping. This initiative will be expanded across all positions in the department. The department is also finalizing preparations for the 2025 audit, which is scheduled to begin in the coming weeks. After the audit, the financial statements will be presented to council. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any questions on finance? Go ahead. Councillor Madden.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Asset management. How's it going and what's it going on? How far are we?
Through you, Mr. Mayor. So that's actually a township-wide initiative. We've been meeting with citywide bi-weekly to discuss. I believe right now the estimated completion date is the end of June. I'm not sure if Michael was planning to speak more to asset management.
Absolutely. Through Mr. Mayor, I'll give a more detailed update in my section for sure.
Good enough. Thank you.
Now, Jacob's been getting upset lately, and that's how he's been reacting.
Just wait until my report.
Yeah. Okay, any further questions on Treasury? Seeing none, go to Jacob in planning.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Quick update on our department. Building department has been really busy this year. Just to compare with last year, same time we had 41 permits, and this year we're already up at 55 permits, and they are bigger permits, like more dwellings. Well, of course, Mechanic Street in Maxville is keeping us very busy with the apartment. Well, may as well talk about it now. So Maxville Manor. They're well into construction for phase one. They're like the first addition they're doing, the new like reception. It's being framed right now. Really complicated with like connection with existing, and they don't want to like alter the life of the residents too much. So, but it's well into construction, going really well there. The Marceni apartment complex. I'm sure you've noticed that 2 buildings are up. One of them almost like drywall is almost ready. The other one is at insulation. So this is also going very well. They're going to connect to services soon. So these will be out for rental shortly, like this summer for sure. And then the other large building, the McEwen office building. This one is still building, so the frame went up like really quickly. Now they're working on building envelope and stuff. So this one also well into construction. Ron Thierry, the subdivision. So Ron hired engineering firm to do services and all. So they're like stormwater, all that stuff is being worked on now. Council will see a presentation on their site plan at the way we usually do it is at public meeting for council to be able to comment on the project, and then we pass the actual site plan control bylaw at a council meeting. So basically just like we do for our zoning bylaws. We don't have to do that. Technically, site plans can directly go to council, but I think it's a right process to do so people have a say in it. So this is what's happening with that one. The La Douceur subdivision, we are going to meet with the CEO soon just to know what's going on with the project there. It's still a go, so they will be able to explain exactly where they are, but I know things are not moving there, but the project is not canceled. They're still working on it. And the other subdivision, so for Alcor subdivision, Some of you probably saw that they're already working on services. On the 11th of May meeting, I will be presenting just a quick report for an extension for them to be able to have an additional 2 years to work on their subdivision. So basically just to, like all the engineering, stuff like that, for all the phases, we're gonna give them an extension just to make sure they don't run out of time and don't have to restart the process. So they just basically right now have to pay for the extension and they're ready to go for phase 1 and the pond and etc. So this one has been working really well. So as you know, Michel, he ended his contract at the end of March as planned. We have interviewed for deputy CBO. We had 2 very good candidates. One of them, it didn't quite work out, so I'm meeting with another one next week, so I should have some news on that. Seems encouraging anyway, so we'll know more about that in a couple weeks. For bylaw, so this one here, we have the mobile food wagon bylaw and the garage sale bylaw that we're working on just to updates as council approved the minor changes there. So this will be passed very soon, so we want to pass those before summer. So this is when these 2 bylaws are most used for, especially for garage sale. But no major changes. We're already using the new terms of the new bylaws anyways. We just want to make them official. We're also working on a exotic animal bylaw. So as some of you probably heard what happened in South Glengarry. So just before, anyway, we have our animal control bylaw does cover some of the species, but we're a little bit out of date. There is a provincial regulations for exotic animals, but it's always easier to enforce when the township also has a bylaw. So we're gonna present that also this year, most likely, just to make sure we're covered. For dogs, so I met with Russell Township. Things are looking good. Basically, it's looking very, like we can probably start the process now for the kennel. So it's 2 things. One is the kennel and one is the dog catcher with Russell. So it's gonna be 2 different agreements. The one for the kennel, we're pretty much good to go. They have room for us and whatnot. So if we ever need to bring them a dog, Todd or any like a resident could bring them a dog and they will house the dog and do it all as, like their kennel is very nice over there. The dog catcher is still to be determined just because they are pretty much the only one who are like well organized with dog catching in their kennel. So we're not the only one. Like I didn't expect that. Pretty much all the townships in Prescott, Russell, and now SDG want to work with them for the dog catcher. So they're really busy, and like currently their response time, they tell people it's 2 hours. But for us, this is not working because like we're 2 hours from theirs. Like say if the guy is sitting in his living room by the time he gets the call, goes and get the truck, comes here, it's more than 2 hours. So it doesn't work. So we'll work on these details, but it looks like it's going to work out based on the number of dogs that we'll need them for. So anyway, this is also going well. We should be hearing them from them soon. For planning, there are a lot of surplus dwellings and additional dwelling bylaws. Like as you've noticed, they're pretty much the only 2 we're seeing these days. So this is okay. We're still working well for that. With the counties, we're pretty much on par with the other townships. It's like that everywhere, so it's not just us. A lot of secondary homes, so especially like in town, in Alexandria and Maxville, where we have both services, people are allowed now to have up to 3 dwellings on their R1 property. So we're starting to see like more apartments. We've issued already 2 or 3 new dwellings on the same property. So this is also a go, and it's going well. It's a lot easier for everybody. There's also the setback exception, 10% less. So that's why we're seeing less minor variances also for houses and stuff. Like in towns they're allowed to 10% less than what they're normally required, which is a provincial regulation also. So yeah, lots of severances. New zoning bylaw, so this should be only done at the end of the year. because we're not really in a super huge rush. We're working with Lindsay at the counties for that, at SDG. She's going to be working with us, of course, but she's going to be the main contact, like open house, presentation to council and everything. So Lindsay will take care of that mostly, but only at the end of the year. And my last thing here, so for the tower, at the last council meeting, again, sorry for being a little bit unprepared for that. I just had a meeting with them, with Shared Towers. They will be here on May 11th meeting, so the questions we had, she's going to be there to answer them. She did explain it to me also, like they have done all like their little details, so instead they were a couple of 100 meters off with their report. She sent me the updated report. It's 3 and 3.4 instead, and the tower covers 4 kilometers. So anyway, she listened to the meeting. She had all the answers. So just very quickly though, the way it works, so council doesn't have to provide the concurrence letter. If council decides not to provide a concurrence letter, what happens is they do all the protocols and everything has been established by ICED. So if council decides not to proceed, they just turn to ICED and they give them all the information. We did everything we had to based on your protocols. Here's our advertisement package, newspaper, and then ICED would contact council to know why don't you want the tower, and there's kind of a mediation happening there. And then ICED would decide if the tower goes up or not. And in order for them to be up to where they are with their process, they're not allowed to say which provider they have a contract with, but they have to have one. So they have to have a specific contract, like at least with one main provider, telecommunication provider, in order to be able to do that. So they're not going to share who their contract and how much and whatnot, but there is a contract in place. So if it ever goes up, they provide all their information to ICED, and then that telecommunication company also has to provide all their information to ICED, just to make sure that all the security protocols are done well, the radius and everything. And for the dwelling, so the closest dwelling is the one we were discussing, but they go per property line. So the closest property line was the one on Lindsay. And even though the dwellings are, I think they're outside of the radius, they're still the closest one based on the radius. So they were notified, and all the ones across the street too were notified by mail by ICED. So everything was done properly. It's just there were a few typos in the report. And yeah, that's it. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead, Deputy Mayor. Councilor Manley.
Thanks for the report, Jacob. Just with regards to that tower, because I was at an Eastern Ontario Regional Network meeting last week, and I wasn't able to get a hold of you. I think we were playing phone tag. Anyway, talking to the CAO of EORN, he said that it's really a good thing that the tower is a carrier neutral tower. He says it's a real advantage to all of the other carriers that might need to hang their equipment off of it. But he asked me, well, what were the other carriers that were? You said there were going to be 2 or 3 already on there.
She told me they have a contract with 2 currently.
Okay, 2.
Yes.
And do you know who they are?
No, she
Nope.
just said they
No,
can't
they don't.
No.
They don't make that public as of now.
Okay. Because if one of them's Rogers, it's a little odd because, of course, EORN is managing the CellGap project for Rogers and has built towers all over, including North Glengarry, in order to improve Rogers' coverage. So he suspects it's probably Bell or TELUS or something like that. But he said the good news is that rather than the tower being owned by a particular carrier would then have limitations, this could theoretically improve cell service for Alexandria, like for the other carriers. He did ask me about the fact that it's 40 meters high. He says that's not that high for a tower.
Possibly, we were given the information. I don't know why the
Okay.
height and
You don't-
whatnot.
they didn't-
No,
That wasn't explained or anything.
no, they don't explain why it's only
Okay.
40 meters.
Yeah, okay. In any case, he certainly didn't raise any alarm bells or anything like that. He said the health impacts of 5G are largely debunked, and that it's if it's going to provide service to other carriers, it's probably a good thing.
Okay, thank you. Councilor Mann.
Just a question on the dog catcher thing. Just to confirm this, so Todd is still dog catching for us, is that correct?
For now, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are we looking to move out of that completely?
Not really, because it would be very expensive for the township.
Right.
So right now, the plan is when working hours, when Todd is here, he's gonna do them all, like he's doing now. It's real, the dog catcher from Russell is really for evenings when Todd's not available, especially for weekends and when he's off on vacation. What?
Go ahead.
Regarding the tower road is somehow related. You know, when you go down, and I know there's a project to redo Main Street now, is there a way that we pass a bylaw or something forcing companies like Bell and TELUS that has all these wires going across Main Street or on every street to the ones that are not being used or something to clean that up? Because there's an awful lot of dead wires up. You know, when you go down Main Street, if you look up, they're terrible. Like, there has to be some.
I think that's part of the Main Street project for
Okay,
Main,
yeah.
is we can't do anything about the high hydro poles, but we are going to bury the services on,
Okay.
like Bell and all
Okay.
those services on the one side.
On all the streets, like, because I'm sure there's maybe a 30% of them that are not even being used, so they just put the wire here, and then the technology goes away, and then 10 years later, they put another one there, but they don't, and I'm sure there can't be that. You know, if there was a way to force them to go at one point and cross the street and then spread out, but it's, anyway, just when we think about it.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, we're certainly reviewing that with the utilities through the design process. The only thing I would add is anytime like we generate a need for work, the municipality and obviously the counties are going to have to contribute to the utilities costs. So that's something to be mindful of. Putting secondary services below ground, it can be more feasible. Major overhead like primary is millions of dollars. But that's certainly something that we will review and through the project, working with the counties.
Okay, go ahead, Councilor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just one quick one. The subdivision Elcor, you're talking about giving them an extension for 2 years. When would the original run out?
It not I think in a year maybe or something like that. This
Okay.
is really just an extension to make sure they have enough time.
And is it like for the design of it or to finish it?
No, it's for the design, for their
Okay.
complete subdivision, like in order to have the M plan for from the province. So, but
Gotcha.
the council already approved their pre-servicing agreement, so they're good to go. It's really just to make sure that they have enough time to provide all the documentation to the province, so they don't have to start the process over. Right.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, just to add to it, so it's a draft plan extension date, so they file a draft plan with the counties, and the counties puts a condition on the date that plan remains active, and the reason they do that is so you don't get a bunch of plans that sit vacant, not developed, with service capacity allocated to those lots. So they put a deadline on to force developers that once you develop a draft plan, you gotta have the goal of moving forward. But so they still have a fair bit of work to do to get a registered plan on. But so that's the date that we're pushing back, but that's relatively common that draft, or working with the counties, that draft plan date get pushed back a year or two for them to finalize construction, essentially, be able to register the plan and move lots.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Are there any further questions or comments on the report that we received from Jacob? Okay, seeing none. Stephanie, you want to go next?
Perfect. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So this afternoon, I'll begin by providing an overview of kind of the 3 areas of community services. So starting with recreation. So looking at our ice season, ice is now out at both arenas. We did have a successful season for the most part, and we'll be coming back to council within the next month or so to confirm our startup dates for the fall. I do want to bring to council's attention an issue that we did have with our ice resurfacer at the Glengarry Sports Palace over this current ice season. So in late November, the Recreation Department noted significant issues with the battery of our electric ENGO ice resurfacer at the GSP. This actually led to the ice resurfacer being put out of commission or service entirely until the exact issues could be assessed by ENGO. But to ensure continuity of operations to get us through the ice season, credit to our team in Recreation, we pivoted quickly to take the backup ice resurfacer from Maxville. As council will recall, we did purchase a new one in 2024. We still had the old one in Maxville, so that one was moved to the GSP to help ensure that we could continue with our ice operations. So there's been a lot of back and forth between the township and ENGO to properly assess the issues with the machine. For context, this ice resurfacer was purchased in 2022 in the amount of approximately $160,000. Staff are of the opinion that this was likely a first generation of fully electric ice resurfacers to be launched into the recreation world. And as such, we've noted a number of issues with that machine since it came into its service at the GSP, ranging from hydraulic issues, parking brake failures, charging malfunctioning, and the list goes on. So over the years, we have worked with ENGO to, fix these issues, some within warranty, some with not. But the current issue that we're facing, ENGO only within the last couple of months has clarified to us that the batteries had become sulfated. And so as such, the replacement for these batteries are quite, the cost is quite significant. And so myself and my team are of the opinion right now that we don't want to continue to put significant money back into this machine if we're only going to see continued failure with it. So as such, we are doing due diligence to investigate further to understand the value of the machine at this time and identify what possible options we have, including, looking at our warranty when it comes to the batteries to make sure, whatever is covered is being covered under warranty. But nonetheless, I do want to provide council with that update so that you'll, be aware that within, I'm sure, the next few months, there may be another report coming to council to determine our next steps and provide council with some options in terms of what we need to do to ensure we have a machine in place.
Are there any questions on that at this time? Go ahead.
Just Stephanie, I think we should look in the legal side of it too, because we put a lot of money in that machine, and like the battery being defective after 3 years, or because we probably bought it in 2022, but we only got it started 2023. When did we move this slab? Anyways, there wasn't much use at that time, especially with COVID. So and then maybe get on that sooner than later, because the new season is, I know we just finished, but it goes fast in the summer.
CAO?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, to your point, I think as Stephanie has definitely identified the risk and that we need to plan for the next upcoming season. To your point, we will need to get more aggressive with the warranty. We've been supplied a first generation equipment. There's often challenges with that, but those shouldn't be our challenges. If the company wants to be in the marketplace, they need to make good on their product. I think they're probably incurring a lot of costs associated with the product that they're trying to get out of. They possibly have, they have a warranty they provide to us, but they likely have a warranty with a supplier that provided that piece of equipment that they put in their machine that they're also fighting with. And so, to your point, I think we want to identify there's a risk, there's a potential cost there to the municipality, but we definitely need to get aggressive, as well as possibly, I think the risk to the supplier is that the municipality, communicate to others that you do not want this supplier. That is a supplier that is trying to break into a well-established industry where there's pretty much two companies in North America. I would assume that, it may be detrimental to them to have a negative review of their product. So anyway, to your point, we're identifying the risk and we definitely need to push forward.
Is the machine that we bought from Axville the same company?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, it's the same company, later generation.
Okay, go ahead, Councilor Manley.
Question about, so they're using an ENGO in Maxville,
Yes, correct. Through
and
you.
they've used that for how long now?
So through you, Mr. Mayor, that was purchased in 2024, and it came into, this was our first full season with that machine. I can say, I mean, it's still early on, it's its first year, but it seems to work better
Okay.
than what we experienced with
Yeah,
this
just-
machine
just-
coming into service
okay.
back in
Just
2022.
curious about that, thank you.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just to Michael's point, I know that we had multiple municipalities that came to us for opinions on this when we got it, because there were a lot of municipalities that were looking to get into them. And as you said, they need to be made aware that, you know, they don't want a bad review, because I'm gonna say from here on, it would be, yes, we do have two of them, one of them we wish we didn't have, and you don't wanna deal with them. Because, yeah, they should make us whole on that, because we've been very good to them, is my understanding.
Don't make me go on Facebook. Okay. Okay, continue.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So maybe I'll try and find some other good news stories in here to pull up for the rest of my report. So now, you know, with the ice out, we're transitioning to outdoor duties. So we have some plans to make some enhancements to the ball diamond at the GSP this summer. Field maintenance will take place on the south field at Island Park this year. We typically try and rotate through each of the fields to close one so that we can do adequate field maintenance on each. The Glengarry District High School tennis court project is out for tender by the Upper Canada District School Board, so we're eager to see the results on that once completed. On that note, the Island Park tennis courts, now that the snow has disappeared, they are in very, very bad condition with the cracks now well spread through both courts. So staff would be of the opinion, unfortunately, due to the risk and liability associated to opening the courts and the risk of someone falling or hurting themselves by playing on those courts, we would probably be recommending to council to close those courts for this summer. However, what staff would like to do is come back with an actual report and a formal update to council about this, and perhaps look at alternatives given, you know, potentially the work with the Glengarry District High School courts, paired with perhaps we could look at a cost savings or a discounted solution to access the dome during the summer months in lieu of not having the outdoor court. But again, I just want to put this out there as part of my update to council to make you aware of kind of the current situation, and would come back to council with more options and recommendations for how to proceed this summer.
I would just encourage you to take a walk over. It's really bad. And we really need to, and this is, the park is our, you know, is the jewel of Alexandria, and really needs to be looked at, because everything else looks great. You know, the basketball court, the skateboard park, but it's really bad. So, okay.
And also at the Tim Hortons Dome, council may recall a few years back there were some bumps emerging in the court at the Tim Hortons Dome that was successfully kind of rolled out at the time. So we've had another professional expert come in to give us their opinion as these bumps have actually reemerged since that time. Not critical to the point of needing to close, and we've been able to maintain operations. But nonetheless, we've found a solution with this provider who's going to come in and grind down the bumps and smooth out the bumps and then resurface the court in its entirety. Based on the pricing, we were able to do this well within the operating budget, so there'll be no unexpected overages or costs expected to go for this budget item. But nonetheless, just want to make council aware of those updates as well happening at the Dome. Okay, so that was our recreation update. Over to economic development. So as council is aware, we've recently had a departure from the economic development officer role, and as such, on an interim basis, we'll be filling those functions internally to give us some time to provide or look at kind of the position with council and administration to understand what our vision is for that role and what we'd like it to achieve going forward. So I welcome council's feedback with that as we review the position over the coming months. In addition, under the economic development portfolio, one of the deliverables under the Community Development Committee working group was to execute an Alexandria marketing plan to align with some of the exciting announcements with the lagoon expansion and updates happening in Alexandria. So that has come to fruition. So we're eager to see that marketing plan executed. The Regional Incentives Program Committee met 2 weeks ago, and we're happy to share that there were 2 applications from organizations in North Glengarry. At this time, we're waiting for final approval from County Council, but we're eager to see hopefully some funds come back to North Glengarry for those organizations.
Those were approved.
Oh, perfect. That's great. So exciting news for this area, for those 2 organizations. We also anticipate 2 CIP applications coming to the next Arts, Culture and Heritage Committee meeting in June, so that's another good news story. Council may recall last fall, I believe I presented an update or an inquiry from an organization who has a program called Create to Get Closer, where it's a mural program where council had authorized us to proceed with the partnership, in which 2 local elementary schools, being one Francophone school and one English speaking school, would work together to create a mural. So I'm happy to share that that will be taking place the first week of May. And so council will be invited, if you're available, on May 7th to see the grand unveiling at Terre des Jeunes on May 7th. So we're excited to see what the final artwork looks like, and that mural will be displayed on the outside of the GSP. On the tree planting side of things for economic development, we've been working with both the South Nation Conservation Authority and the Raisin Region Conservation Authority to use our tree planting budget to plant new trees. So this year they're slated for the Glen Robertson Recreation Center, Alexandria Cenotaph, and Glengarry Pioneer Museum. This is in addition to the grants that we are working on with both organizations for those tree planting efforts. With the project dedicated at Island Park, where we'll be removing and cleaning up some of the dead trees and replacing them at a 2-to-1 ratio by planting new trees. So we're eager to see that project through as well. In terms of special events, our Meet Me on Main Street events and their planning are well underway. Our first event is set to go in Glen Robertson on May 22nd from 5 to 8 p.m. Backtracks will be the entertainment, and there'll be a barbecue and cash bar consistent with previous years. So we're looking forward to that. An update on the community garden here in Alexandria. We've recently kind of regrouped on this project to get some of the parties back together to understand the vision and what we want to achieve with the community garden. So we're grateful for the boxes that were created through the support of the Glengarry District High School and partners involved in executing that. But there are a lot of boxes, as you might note if you've driven by recently. They're very large and very big, and there's a number of them. So in looking at the project, we're actually looking at potentially moving some of those boxes elsewhere within North Glengarry where there might be a need or an interest in seeing this project also have a ripple effect in other areas by having a community garden box available, for example, in Glen Robertson or in Maxwell at King George Park. So we may look to remove some of those boxes with a goal to actually align that space in a way where we can put some picnic tables, maybe some solar powered lighting, or make it a nice space so that it can be used as well for events or different initiatives. So that is underway. We're currently planning to have that ready to go this spring. So just wanted to let council know that there has been some progress with that. And then quickly, I'll just go through as well some updates for our grants and our current applications that are out and where we've been successful. We did apply on behalf of the organizing committee for the Baby Please Come Home event that takes place every November here in Alexandria for the SDNG Regional Tourism Grant. So we're hopeful to receive some advertising funds to help promote that event and draw in some attendees from other surrounding areas. So we're waiting for the results of that. We had also applied for the Rural Ontario Development Grant for money to support the Maxville Sign Project. So there is a lot of work underway for that. So we hope to also come back to council with an updated design or concept so that at least we can have council's kind of direction on what we would like this sign to look like, and then go back to have some fresh quotes provided for that. We're still waiting to hear the results of the Trillium grant for the elevator project at the GSP. We did hear back from the Canada Heritage Grant that we were successful with the Celebrate Canada funding. So we will have some money to help offset costs associated to putting on those Canada Day celebrations across North Glengarry. So we were excited to hear about that. And then I mentioned briefly the tree planting grant is in its final stages of review. So that would be pertaining to the Island Park project. So we're eager to hear back on that one as well. And just one other update that we've received is that the Ontario government has confirmed funding opportunities will be announced later this year pertaining to recreation infrastructure. So we're eager to see that grant launched, as we feel that would align with the slab replacement at the Maxville Sports Complex. So once we have more information on that, we'll certainly return to council for a resolution to support that application. And I think that's it.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead. Councillor Cadell.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just one question. You mentioned the war memorial in Alexandria. Do you have plans to do something there?
Yes, so through you, Mr. Mayor, that has been a part of the conversation as well. We were recently talking to someone who helps with the flowers at Island Park, and so we talked about some of the opportunity that exists around the cenotaph here in Alexandria, but we did also talk about, or confirm rather, that we will be doing some tree planting at the cenotaph for this year to help kind of separate. We noticed, especially during the last Remembrance Day ceremony, the wind and what comes through there being it's very wide open, so to help plant some trees to help reduce that impact.
Okay, I only ask because there's work afoot to fix the walkway, fix the monument, and I just, wanted to be sure you know of that.
Yes, we should definitely connect.
Okay.
Is that the one with MP Eric Duncan?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Further questions? Go ahead. Mr. Martin.
On baseball diamond improvements, is the netting in Maxville included in that?
Yes, so through you, Mr. Mayor, so we do have a field maintenance budget associated for both the Maxville Ball Diamond and the sports fields out there as well. So yes, so we do have intention to allocate those funds as well to both.
I'm just kind of expecting some phone calls soon about that, so ball season starting soon.
Okay, good. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Last one, you mentioned the anticipated upcoming grant for recreation infrastructure. Obviously, we have the Maxville slab on there, but we also never finished GSP as far as the dressing rooms and washrooms and upstairs, all that stuff that we had on there. So depending on what that looks like and what the, criteria are, that's, potentially on the list too.
Yeah, I think our focus is to make sure that we get the slab changed in Maxville, because that would interrupt, obviously, the ice season. So that would be our priority. And then if there's anything else, then we would go. But not likely we'd be getting to grants.
It's all about how they structure the grant, right?
Right.
Just,
Okay, thank you. Any further questions? Okay, seeing none, we'll go to Chief Roy.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll just be providing council just an overview on a number of items that the fire department has been dealing with and accomplishments in 2026. So we've had a busy year so far in 2026. We're seeing a lot of structure fires and so forth. We're reviewing all the incidents, and we always follow up with fire prevention and so forth to make sure that these incidents are isolated and so forth. So overall, training has been going very well. As council's aware, the firefighter regulations coming into effect July 1st, 2026. I'm pleased to say that North Glengarry is fully prepared and are going to be fully certified to meet all those standards. So in 2026, we've conducted Fire Instructor 1 in-house, Fire Officer 1 in-house. We've onboarded a recruit class of Firefighter 1. We've also completed additional courses, First Responder Inspectors, Incident Command course, Incident Safety Officer courses. So this has all been done since January. So it's been a very busy time of year for us. We're also been delivering emergency medical responder certification. This is a higher level of medical first aid that our department's going to be delivering. So this also includes 8 medical directives that will be administering and being able to administer higher level of medical certification for the residents of North Glengarry. We'll be conducting a pump ops course also in June, which also aligns with the certification that's going to be required for July. So, as I indicated, training is probably been one of our most paramount things that moving forward. The next key benchmark is July 1st, 2028, where that's for special operations type of and technical training, which our department offers ice water rescue and water rescue, so that's something that we're going to be aiming towards. So that's our next target date that we're going to be moving towards. So I'm pleased to say that yes, once again, yes, we're well prepared to be able to meet that demand also in 2028. So yeah, I'll be briefing council as that progresses. Our duty shift pilot is continuing. We're having very strong positive outcomes of the duty shift as a result of having members working from 8 to 4 Monday to Friday. This has significantly helped us in terms of incident response, maintenance of our vehicles, follow-up of, of fire prevention inspections and so forth. So our duty shift takes a lot of burden away from our volunteers that are either away during those peak hours, so we're able to still maintain that high level of response and availability to the residents, ensure that trucks can leave and that we're actually able to have a vehicle leave and never get a zero response. So in terms of fire prevention, we continue to deliver pub ed, having in-station and school presentations, which is going very well. Our inspections continue to be very high. We've had some very serious inspections this year where they were dealt with very efficiently by our fire prevention division, as well as some post-incident inspections, which kind of ended up resulting in a couple of Section 15 orders, which were dealt with, and good success as a result of it. In terms of procurement, as council is aware, the SCBA's were ordered. They're due to be delivered in the month of May, where we anticipate training will be taking place month of June and July. So we're looking forward to bringing that forward. So unless council has further questions about anything else, feel free to. That concludes my report.
Okay, thank you. Just a question. Just seems like we've had a pretty high call volume as of late. Where are we in terms of the amount of calls in comparison to maybe last year? Or
yeah, so currently we're sitting at 77 calls for service, and right now 10 of those were sitting as structure fire. So in terms of call volume in comparison from last year in 2025, we're sitting maybe about 10 calls more. But I think the significance of the calls are a little different this year, and especially the length of the calls will be a lot more lengthier because of the seriousness of the incident. So why that happens is not really known, accepting, but it's just we've been able to keep up with it. We've had good success as a result of it. There's been some good stops that we were able to intervene before it got too serious. So yeah.
okay. Further, go ahead, Councilor Madden.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thanks, Chief. The duty shift pilot, out of curiosity, the shifts, how's the uptake? I think there was a fair few that were left vacant last year. Is it getting better or?
Yeah, so through you, Mr. Mayor, we're actually filling every day now. So,
awesome.
Yeah, which has really assisted us, as well as one with the training facility, being able to keep up with the training facility opening back up from the winter months, all the maintenance on all the vehicles, even just the ability to put ourselves back into service, which after all the incident that we have, the hose cleaning, the bunker gear cleaning, all that kind of stuff, it's really assisted us in being able to achieve that. Because if not, it would either fall to the volunteers that have to come in at night,
Yeah.
then the suits are not put back in service and all that kind of stuff, so.
And how many firefighters are sort of taking up the shifts? Is it sort of a very few, or is it actually being
Yeah,
spread
so
out
it's
reasonably well?
we have significant, there's a selected few, that would be probably about 5 to 7.
Okay.
Some will take on more based on what their personal life allows them to do, but there is a consistent type of, we've seen more of an uptake in 26 in terms of availability, and maybe there's one shift that's not taken. Yeah, so.
And how's it working? Like, are the majority of shifts being done in Alexandria? Is it rotating through as far as the after call sort of cleanup and
Yeah, so
redo?
the duty shift is assigned. They rotate from station 1, 2, and 3.
Okay.
Each day. So every station's being touched at the same amount of time. So every vehicle is being looked at. So more than it's ever been able to. So each station clean up and so forth. So
Good.
yeah,
Thank you.
thank you.
Okay, thank you. Further questions or comments? Seeing none, thank you, Chief, for your report. Now, the highlight of the show. Tim, you got 2 reports in a row.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. One's just really a little bit more detail of the high level, but so for the high level, congratulations on a happy Earth Day today. We have purple bags that could be picked up from all the township locations, including the community locations, the community center locations. And there's a few community groups who have come to pick up bags, and those bags can be placed next to where the materials are picked up, and they'll be picked up by our garbage contractor over the next 2 weeks, which is good. And it's been some good pick up on that. We also have the Leaf and Yard Waste Pickup Day on May 4th, Hazardous Waste Pickup Day on May 23rd. One of the changes that we're making is we do have all the infrastructure for the hazardous waste depot set up at 265 Industrial. So what we want to do is we want to try rotating Clarence, who's our landfill attendant, to the 265 location. He still needs some of the training, but that will mean we'll be able to open the 265 location for hazardous waste once every 2 weeks in an afternoon. So we're trying to figure out what the best day for that would be. The Fridays and Saturdays are the busiest at the landfill. We're open Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. We're thinking that the Friday is probably the best day, but we'll bring something back to council before we open that up, just because we still need clearance to get the training, which just depends on the availability from GFL. But now is a good time if anybody has some feedback on what day they'd prefer. Feel free to tell me or send me an email, but we can bring back a council meeting on that one. We are also working on updating the garbage bylaw. That'll be, I keep on imagining that things are going to quieten down, and then I'll get some time over the summer to work on the garbage bylaw. So, and that will go hand in hand with planning for the garbage contract renewal that we're working with South Glengarry to figure out how we're going to do that, whether that's in-house or just through contractors again.
So those discussions are happening? Okay.
I'll say there as well that I'm leaning a little bit on Dave from South Glengarry. He has a lot of expertise when it comes to landfill operations. So, it's good chatting with him, and it looks like we'll be able to line things up and get something going. So details to come.
3, Mr. Mayor, just add to that. So we'll be bringing a report in the near future. So we'll coordinate with South Glengarry. We'll have a report which provides various options for council's consideration. I think both staffs have probably a strong opinion as to which direction we should probably likely head. But a report will be brought back to council, kind of outlining the pros and cons and what the likely cost will be. So, sorry, Tim, just add.
No, that's perfect. Exactly. And then so on the water side, so that's really it for landfill. I guess the other thing to mention is we Last year, we did some work on the access road to the closed Alexandria landfill. So we had been talking to City of Cornwall because they had some projects going on, and they were going to bring us some clean fill to use as cover. So we haven't had any other correspondence with them this year, but that is the plan. And we do take material from other projects that we've got going on. So SDG, when they have a road or a bridge replacement and there's material that is suitable to use as vinyl cover, we take that. We also are hoping that we need to do more testing, but we're hoping that the dried material from the lagoon, from the desludging, is going to be able to be used there as well, which would be good. So that's it for landfill. The Glen Robinson landfill continues to operate with not much change. On the water side, we just did the lagoon pre-start meeting with the contractor, which went well. Bishop Water have confirmed a start of May 4th for desludging, resuming the desludging, which is great. We want to get them done and out of the way. We are working with EVB about some upgrades to the water entry room. We have 2 very old low lift pumps that need to be upgraded. That's just part of the budget. So we'll be doing design and then probably putting out a tender for the replacement, and we may need to integrate some other upgrades to that water entry room later on in the summer. It isn't, what is nice is this is finally a piece of work that isn't really seasonal dependent, so you know, that's just something that we're gonna be working on. We're also, for the water loss, one of the places that was identified was that the fire stations weren't metered for the water that's going into the trucks. So we found some big meters that we can put on, and we've got a contractor who'll come in and put them in the stations, just so we can see, you know, just so we can account for all the water that's going out of the system. We also have some DQMS updates. We had a management meeting and infrastructure review, so you'll see a report on that soon. And then 265 upgrades have been the other order of business, so that area is looking really good. We've got the office areas done, the drains are complete, and the door upgrades and everything, so making sure everything's to code, and we can use that well as a water and public works garage. On the road side of things, we've done the gravel tender, the dust suppressants, sidewalks. The surface overlay tender came in with good pricing, which let us go and ask them to price 2 more roads, so concession 2 in Lindsley Street East, because that was brought up by council as a very, very urgent street, and it has the right conditions that we can do it on the same contract. We can't do anywhere with curbs and sidewalks under this contract because it's just a surface overlay. So if we went and did it, it would mess with the road base, and we would get drainage issues. So we're also looking into, there's a part of Dominion Street that's been degraded quite a bit, but that might also just be a cut and patch, like a localized repair there. We've also hired the students, so we've got a lot returning back, and some new ones. It's been a lot of staffing changes. So we have a new admin, a new manager of transportation. So there's been a lot of training going on. We've got 2 new full-time roads hires, and we had a few more part-time winter seasonal. Some of them didn't work out. Some of them will be returning, which is good. We also have our bridges planning study, which we're doing jointly with the county, that's closing next Thursday. So those are all good things. One of probably the major part of the work that I've been doing is working on, as part of the asset management plan as well, kind of complementary, is the condition assessment maps, so that we can really start tackling and making a plan going forward in a project pipeline for the work in town. So where we have older roads, older water infrastructure, or older sewer infrastructure and storm, where those upgrades are needed, so that we don't have the, go and replace a road and then dig it up the next year to replace the water main problem, so. That's it for the, my general update, but we do have the snow to jump into in a little bit more depth.
So, and I did speak to Tim about this today, and Deputy Mayor drove Concession 8 the other day. I know that we don't have the funds to do anything this year, but I think we need to plan that to do something there, because it's terrible. Like it's. Eh?
I was just on it, it's fine.
Oh yeah, not yesterday. Yeah.
Oh, they're ready to go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
And just to add to that, I was on Athol Road. Wow. And we've got
Don't
a
be
lot
an
of-
asshole.
I know. We got a lot of bad sections, and I will say, it's like it's crumbled down, so it's kind of smooth, but, wow, it's really going fast, like really great equipment.
Through Ms. Matt, we actually went to look to see if we could do a service overlay on Athol Road this year as part of the same contract, but with the amount of, the idea of the surface overlay is you have something to put it over the top of, and it's gone that far that it's a,
I think it's gotta be chewed up and redone, right? Like it's, yeah,
Yep.
I don't think.
hold in place, yeah.
Councillor
But
Massey?
just to say, I was on it, it was bad.
Yesterday I was at a meeting at the Raisin River, and I did ask before all the amalgamation goes down, about our canal down in Alexandria, and they did confirm again that it's ours. So they have nothing to do with it. So you might have add that to our infrastructure. So they have nothing to do.
So how did they prove that?
Yeah, exactly.
They manage the dam for us. We own the dam, but the canal that goes through is ours. And just so before we.
So we can shut it off?
You can shut it off if you want, yeah, but it I just wanted to confirm that the owner or the responsible identity knew that it was theirs, and I just wanted to confirm before everything gets swallowed up, who owns the canal, so they say we own it.
Who owns the Chiefs?
Owns the chief. So, yeah, maybe double check with Lindsay, Allison, but it's ours, just so you know.
Okay, well,
Is
we'll,
that a question of opinion?
yeah, exactly. I don't know where I don't think they found it. Oh, it says right there that we own it, but anyways,
Well, it's something that might have to be dealt with before too long, because the new conservation authority is beginning February 1st next year.
okay. So nothing further? Yeah, go ahead.
I'm wondering if we could get an update on the Alexandria Main Street project.
Yes, through you, Mr. Mayor. Sorry, I didn't actually, I had this written down here, but I didn't actually talk about it. So the design is ongoing at the moment. We're half with the counties for the design. We just awarded the geotechnical investigations because that's a sub-consultant to EBB. So they should be going along and doing some boreholes, and we'll get the information back. I don't have a confirmed date, but there will be an update to council, obviously, but also an update with the community to show them where we are with the design in the late summer. So.
Okay, good. Yep, follow up.
And there was talk of establishing a steering committee. Is that happening?
Through Mr. Mayor, it looks like with the way that it's structured, it looks like it's going to be best if we do direct reports to council as opposed to add in another layer down the bottom, underneath both the councils. Seems everybody is engaged enough in the project that the best thing is just to bring it straight to everybody.
Okay, just make sure that we do get those reports at least once a month.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, final question. And we'll
Just
move
on that Main Street, just to make sure that everybody's aware, and I'm sure they are, but there's a bridge there.
Yeah. Yes, they know.
No, but,
Yeah.
and that's secure, but I don't know. We had many talks, and if somebody goes walk under there, it might, so just make sure that they do.
Is that a county bridge?
Yeah. I think it's the Conservation Authority. Okay, so we will receive these reports. All those in favor? Motion is carried. Thank you, everyone, for your reports. Everybody but Tim can leave if they don't want to stay, so go ahead. Oh, sorry, I have the CAO's report. I forgot. And I already accepted the...
No problem. Sorry, I'll be really quick. Staff touched on a lot of the items, so just briefly. So the municipal election process, obviously, well underway. The website is up to date. We've expanded it further to include more information. So, I guess anybody you're speaking to or yourselves, it's a good resource for getting the documents. If there isn't something there, feel free to reach out to myself or Jenna. We had the information session last night. It was well attended, so that was very positive. Just with the deputy clerk's office, obviously she'll be away for a couple more weeks, so anything in regards to clerks continue to go through myself. We have everything covered in the meantime, including the agendas, the meetings, and as well as election administration. So just so council's aware. So we did speak to it, but we did implement the ADP payroll system, which is a big advancement for the township. There's obviously a lot of work that goes into that, but also, there's some growing pains. Obviously, when staff transitioned to a new system, we transitioned a pay period that was very awkward to a much better system that's more in alignment with what the industry would be. So Zoe and her team really worked hard and got that done. It will be very beneficial for both the staff as well as the township moving forward. It's all information is readily available to everybody. Everybody's working off the same info. T4s, remittances are all automatic. So it's a really big step for the township. Just briefly, Ministry of Infrastructure funding. Tim mentioned we had the pre-construction for Alexandria. We have submitted everything that the ministry requires to consider our scope amendments. So basically what we're doing is we're asking them to tear up the agreement that we have, modify the existing agreement, and add Maxville as well as some network upgrades within Alexandria to address the last of that funding. So they have everything. They've had it for a few weeks now, and we're expecting a response soon. Again, they haven't given us an absolute green light, but everything generally seems to remain positive, and all of our communications since then have all been kind of leading into that direction. But we'll see when we get official answer. But everything's with them, and everything's been positive, and then we're moving full speed ahead with the work at the Alexandria Lagoon. So next topic, just briefly. So I've spent a fair bit of time reviewing where we kind of stand with our current, I would say, corporate policies and practices. So I've developed a bit of a framework for what we require as one that we're obligated to require, we're legally required to have, as well as what we probably should have for a municipality of our size. So that will be before council. So it will lay out what policies that we do need and where we're going to go. There's going to be a fair bit of work that's going to be, that's going to occur over the course of the remainder of this year. But before we start bringing policies to council, we'll at least get council to review, basically what essentially amounts to a table of contents of everything that we're going to propose. So everybody's on the same page before we invest a fair bit of work. So that should be before council shortly, and then the larger work will begin. I would say there is a fair bit of work to do there, so it is going to take some time. Same thing for, I would say, corporate kind of policies and practices as well. Like for instance, type of maybe for example, I'll say HR matters. Same thing. I've done the same kind of review, and we'll kind of propose recommendations there in the near future as well. Strategic planning, I know is very early, but we definitely want to get a head start and a good start on this. So we're kind of in the early stages of kind of trying to map out what strategic planning will look like for the next council term. so that we're set up early so that, once a new council term starts, that we could look to head into a strategic planning session early, hopefully have a strategic plan that's before council, middle of next year, so that it's a strategic plan for the entire council term. As I've indicated before, my recommendation would be is that it'll be a little bit more detailed and have kind of very tangible things that administration is expected to deliver on, and then from there there'll be an operational plan for staff within the township that aligns how we're going to achieve all the goals that council has identified, and then we'll bring back a quarterly reporting process to say what progress we've made in regards to those plans. So anyway, that's early. We certainly recognize that's early, but I certainly don't want to be in a position where we're starting these conversations internally as staff, in March of next year, and then by the time we're able to have a strategic planning session to get a plan, it's only half of the council term. So we're really trying to set ourselves up well for that. One of the last major ones to Councillor Madden's question. So we've all staff have been spending a fair bit of time working on the asset management plan. So it's staff have been working very hard. It's been a big priority for us to get that completed. So just so council's aware, I think it's the third provincially regulated deadline that we have to achieve. So basically it's been a progression over the last number of years that they require municipalities to have a plan that contained this, and then it basically slowly has expanded to include all assets. You need proposed levels of service for all assets. So it's basically, it started, municipalities that may not have had a mature asset management plan before. It gave them direction where to be, and then it slowly progressed. So we've been working very hard on that over the last year. We're getting near completion, but there is a fair bit of work involved. So just so council's aware, like typically each one of these phases is municipalities spend a year on. It's multiple staff within the department. You have to do condition assessments of every assets you have. Some assets, and it really depends on, the quality of the data that you had in the first place. And municipalities are just in different places with that, and so it's something that our staff have really had to work hard on. And so we've made a lot of positive steps, and I think when the plan is before council, you'll have a plan that is a realistic picture of what the township's assets are, as well as a plan as to theoretically what you should be spending looking forward. I would say just a caution, almost every municipality, they're going to identify that there is a backlog in infrastructure. I don't know one municipality that is saying they're overspending their infrastructure needs. So that's just not uncommon. I guess I'll put that out there. Everything is a question of risk, and so that's one of the factors that we've had to bring in as part of this last asset management plan. So I'll use for instance of if you have a water main backlog, yes, it's an important asset. Yes, there's disruption when it breaks, but it's not the same as if a bridge breaks. And so, you have a certain amount of money that you can allocate. Where are you going to allocate it? This is where it recommends. So I'm very big on when we talk about, financial strategy, which is the next step that we're working on. So it's asset management plan as well as a financial strategy that, it has to propose like a reasonable plan for council to consider, such that it just isn't a bunch of work that you put on the shelf and say you met the deadline and never look at it again. So that's something that staff's been working very hard at. And then I think from where we'll leave off with this phase, now is going to become operationalized within the department, so that each time you do an asset management plan or council asks for information, it's not such a big lift. We don't have to go look at all the assets that we've added over the last number of years. Do we need to do any inspections? Because that's what happens every time, for each one of these phases. Now it's going to be operationalized, and so essentially as soon as council asks for information on what what conditions are our roads in, it's readily available. So that's really the goal the province wanted to get everybody to, and that's where we'll end up at the end of this. Yes, we are a little behind. A lot of municipalities of our size are behind. We'll make sure we get it in, and we make sure there's no funding impact. So anyway, just wanted to provide that background, so when council hears about it, that's not submitted. It is a fair bit of work, but we are full steam ahead. And just lastly, we have council on Monday night. There will be a closed meeting component of that. There are the open agenda, there are reports for the open agenda, relatively light, but there will be a meeting on Monday night, so both closed and open. Anyway.
Okay, thank you. Questions or comments at this point? No? Okay, thanks. Sorry about missing your report.
Problem.
Okay, Tim?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So I'm not quite. Does that move and have my tables on it, maybe? Does it?
Actually, I have a motion, so I'll read it. Moved by Councillor Manley, seconded by Councillor Madden, that the Committee of the Whole for the Township of North Glengarry receives report PW 2026-12 Winter Operations Performance for information purposes only.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I don't know if this is going to work, but I can just talk about it. I just wanted to show that, so we had, it was a good winter. It wasn't a tough winter compared to the ones that we've had recently. It was very long, but the events that we had weren't very extreme. So we had a new manager, and when you have a new manager come in, it's a good time to go through and change things up a little. There were definitely some ideas that Robbie had from, working for the department for so long and thinking, okay, when I can make the decisions, what things would I do differently, right? And so it was a good year where he was able to kind of really innovate and come up with new ways of doing things, which I think went really, really well. So overall, I was hoping I could bring it up on the screen, but if you add up our contracted services, which you recall we did a little bit differently, our snow removal budgets throughout the township and our overtime, we're about $50,000 under. That's taking into account January, February, March of 2026 compared to January, February, March 2025. So there's a big caveat with that, which is that we didn't have any special weather events in 2026. We had a fairly big special weather event in 2025 where we declared a special weather event between February 16th to February 18th, 2025, and we had to get a lot of contractors to come in and help, and there's a little analysis in my report of, you can see the quantities of precipitation that we got and the quantities and the minimum temperature. I graphed it out a little bit as well, and you could see where there were peaks of the extreme weathers in 2025. We didn't get quite the same in 2026, but we really got the same amount. So we moved the same amount of snow for a lot less. We made quite a few changes between 2025 and 26. There was, the first one is just the call-outs. So the call-outs were a lot less. Robbie was really monitoring how much accumulation we were getting out in town. There was a tendency to really remove the snow as soon as it was down inside Alexandria before, and that was leading to a lot of overtime. It was always done at 3 a.m. To avoid some conflicts with traffic, and I think Robbie found a really good balance this year. So very well performing on the budget, which we're pretty happy with. The other big change was about half of the contracts. So we have this building here, the water treatment plant, some community buildings, the Legion. Those areas were put onto a fixed price contract. So previously it was per visit, and that would, I think we probably won out on that one this year because it was quite a lot of visits throughout the season. But on the previous year as well, it was a lot of snow, but in a short period, right? So that ends up being less visits. So I think we won out. Either way, the contractors are actually pretty happy with it as well, because we're paying them up front. So we're paying them half as soon as the contract starts, as soon as they're awarded the contract, and then the other half in March. So I think it's a really good arrangement. One of the parts we did when we did the tender was that we also looked at, so some of those items were provisional, and we wanted to see what the pricing was. So we had a big contractor who retired, Gillivac Excavation, and there wasn't really a contractor in that area who was offering that sort of service. So if council remembers, we went and we purchased a Kubota tractor. It's been performing really, really well. So you would think that if we had a decrease in the amount that we're sending in contractors, we'd have an increase of the amount that we're spending on overtime, because we'd be spending more time at 3 a.m. trying to get this done. But with the staffing hires that we've had, so we've got two full-timers, not really new staff, they've just been vacant positions that weren't able to be filled before. So with the full staff and the proper management of overtime, it looks like the budget's done really, really well. And I credit that mostly to Robbie. He did a really good job. We also had the salt shortage to deal with. So this was, we talked to the counties and a few other places to see where this salt shortage actually came from. We did end up getting affected by it, but again, because of the adjustments in management that Robbie had already made to the application rates, and how often we're going out, we were already very well under on our salt, so we were less affected by other townships. So we have spoken to, and by us I mean us as a group, the 6 municipalities and the SDG. We've spoken to our supplier, and they identified the issue was they were bringing the boats down too late to fill up the Cargill Salts supply depots. So that was kind of where the issue came from, and they've got a good plan going into the next year to bring that salt down earlier so we don't get stuck in the same issue. We heard lots of rumors that it was, things happening with the US and tariffs and things like that. It was just a matter of the timing and bringing those boats down the St. Lawrence to get the material where it needs to be. So overall, it went well. A very good winter. We're significantly under budget. We're going to see what it looks like in December as the winter kicks off again, just to see how we go, and we'll see how the tenders come back because this year we plan to do the other half of the areas that we still have unit price contracts for, so they're still paying per visit. We're going to take those, put them out to tender again, and get fixed price contracts going there as well. So we'll see how that goes, but I anticipate that even though the weather wasn't as extreme, I think that we can probably reduce that budget there. I think that what we saw this winter is going to be probably the consistent normal, at least for how we do our operations. So yeah, I think, and a big shout out to the whole team, the roads department. I gotta say, the work that Michelle put in over the last couple of years to really refine the teams down and get the teams working well, and then the handover, and then Robbie working well with them as well. The roads teams, I haven't seen them this happy. It's just a continual upward trend. So yeah, I think it's going well.
It's good to hear. Okay, well, yep, so do you, that's it? Questions? So we can have snow in November and December next year, and we can afford to take it down?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, you have my permission to have snow in November, December.
Thank you.
Yes.
I mean, you were already predicting the kind of winters we're going to have, so I figured. Any further questions or comments from anyone? Okay, all those in favor of the motion? Motion is carried. None opposed. And motion, anything further? Anybody have to bring up? Motion to adjourn, moved by Councillor Massey, seconded by Councillor Cadell. That being no further business to discuss, the meeting was adjourned at 4:26 p.m. All those in favor? Motion is carried. Perfect. Thank you, everyone, for oh, did we get, oh, that's something in the back. Come on. Matters of Standing Committee, Raisin Region.
Yeah, we're going through the process of amalgamate with the 3 other different conservation, and we're going through that.
Okay. Maxwell Manor, Councillor Martin.
Okay, Maxwell Manor, Jacob mentioned that stage 1 is nearing completion with the new entranceway, but stage 2 is also very much underway in front. Well, I guess it's going to be in the back of eventually. The Catchy Ace, they received 147,000 of that. Catchy Ace money came in, and apparently they're starting another one, but it's mostly going to be online purchases, I think, for Catchy Ace. Our AGM is coming up in June, and they're having a volunteer appreciation breakfast on April 30th.
Okay, thank you. Glengarry Archives, we had a meeting this week. We got an update from Alan on many items, but we passed the budget this week, so everything looks good and the budget's healthy. And Mike, anything to add?
Just to say budgets, I'm going to say it's pretty responsible spend for the value that both municipalities get. He continues to bring in some really impressive documents and I'm going to say even artifacts. He mentioned that picture of Graham's Creamery. I had seen that.
Yeah.
It's pretty neat.
Yeah, John Hope had some kind of cool ones. Used to be the Hope Taxi Company, and he had written out how much it cost to take someone to Dalhousie and go pick them up, and it was kind of cool. So.
The increase in business in Highland Games weekend. And
Yeah.
Some things never change.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Alan presented and visited yesterday at the Raisin Region, so they're in the process of getting
the archives. Yeah, because they want to do that prior to February 2nd to receive the archives. Good. Arts, Culture, and Heritage. Any update?
Nothing really. We had Catherine, our new employee, sort of taking over for Ainsley, looking after the agendas and that kind of stuff. The mural, we talked about this, Stephanie talked about the mural too, so yeah.
Okay, thank you. Friends of the Trails.
Meeting last Tuesday night, we met a couple, this was interesting, a new couple, husband and wife, they're from France, and they've moved into Alexandria, and they were talking about getting involved with the trails or whatever, and it was very interesting. They have no vehicle, but the reason they moved here was because of VIA, because of the train, and able to get to Montreal on the train, or Ottawa on the train. And yeah, so there's a positive for VIA or whatever, and we should be pushing that.
For sure.
So.
Absolutely. Thank you. Community development. We have a meeting coming up, I believe, and obviously we're all kind of getting excited about the fact that we may be doing the Maxville Lagoon as well. So lots of discussion on getting something. And we received the what do we call it? Marketing plan, and really good plan. Stephanie did a really good job on that, and everyone was very impressed with it. So it kind of gives us an outline of where we're going to go in the coming couple of years. So it's exciting times. Anything to add on it? Rural. Did I skip over? Yes, I did. Pioneer.
Pioneer Museum, we attended the AGM there a week ago Friday. It went well. James Joyce received the Pioneer of the Year for all his work he's done throughout. They're getting ready for new season. They're having a cleanup work bee on May 2nd. They're getting ready for opening weekend on the 16th, the long weekend. And they have a couple fundraisers coming up. There's a paint night on April 30th, next Thursday, and trivia night on May 23rd. I think both North Glengarry and South Glengarry each have a table in for that, so.
Okay, thank you. Rural Affairs?
We're planning a meeting for next Thursday, so we'll be bringing up some issues that like the county's tree planting on the roadsides and so among others, but we haven't been meeting in a while, so we're doing that.
Perfect, thank you. We've already adjourned, so thank you for your report. So, what do you have? God, am I just jumping all over the place here? County Council, just ticking things off that aren't even done.
Just ticking things off, just at random.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, okay, so we just had our county council meeting this week. And I was talking to a few members of this council about the end of mortgage presentation with regards to a rent geared to income properties and the concerns that some of the housing providers have with regards to signing these new agreements. So we kind of all voiced our concern about that around the county table, and it's going to be addressed shortly, I guess. Let me see, hang on here. Yes, we reviewed all the applications for the Regional Incentives Program, and as Stephanie said, 2 North Glengarry applications were successful, so that's great news. Hang on, I'm just going through the agenda here. Sorry. There's a couple of interesting things down here somewhere. I just have to find them. Sorry. Yeah, so intersection improvement studies at various locations. So Mayor McDonald brought up at one of our earlier county council meetings that there was some concern about the intersection at County Road 43 and County Road 20 going south. And that intersection was potentially dangerous and might need some added features. And similarly, at County Road 43 and County Road 20 going north towards Maxville. And so there was a significant study done on both of those intersections, and it turns out that they are within the safety, they're considered safe intersections and are appropriately marked, and so there's no plans for anything additional going there, like lights or more stop signs.
They did a series of these intersections that other county councillors had issues with in their municipalities, and there was only one that broke the threshold. And the reason we brought it up is we've had some local people that live near those intersections seem to think that there's a lot more occurrences than what's being reported. And I called the chief and got some stats on how many accidents have been there. So anyways, unfortunately, there's nothing within the parameters of the highway, their TAC that would do it. So.
Yeah. And there was, Mayor McDonald also brought up there's that used car dealership that's where AJK used to be, and there was some concern that the vehicles that were for sale were kind of encroaching on county right-of-way and causing sightline problems, and apparently that's not the case.
But they have asked.
But they have spoken to them and said, make sure you keep your cars back. We don't want you interfering with sightlines at the intersection. So I thought you might be interested in that, if I can get this back up here. There is going to be another SDG Municipal Summit, I think It's a bunch of people attended that the last number of years, and it's pretty valuable. And I think it's really great if we can all I don't have the date yet, but if we can all participate in that. And I know that you guys will have staff will have the opportunity to present something wonderful that North Glengarry does. So that'll be good. And that's it.
Okay,
Thanks.
no questions?
Just mention one thing. I've mentioned it very lightly before, haven't ever formalized, but the advertising that's happening beside county roads on poles, I think there's a rule about advertising within a certain distance of a county road. And one of the ones that's really becoming obvious is that corner at Apple Hill. As you're coming north from Apple Hill to turn on 43, there's a post there, there's at least 5 signs there now. And it seems like there was one company that it started with and now it's multiplying. But that is a really good
But they
example.
do a tour, they tour all the roads. I'd be surprised if that's,
No, they don't, because the signs have been going up for years now, and nothing's happening to them.
I highly doubt it, but I will check into it. Tell me where it is exactly.
That corner is super obvious. Like if you're coming north from from Apple Hill and you're sitting to turn either way on 43,
Yeah.
that post right at the corner has
Okay.
literally like 5-6 signs. But you drive any county road now, there's signs on hydro poles all the way along the county
Okay,
roads.
I'll tell them to have a look at it, thanks. I take it back, I don't highly doubt you. Just partially.